It's time for another Flashback 4. But first, let's think about those dice at the top. What's the total? 15. I'd like you to pause here. Have a go at the Flashback 4 questions all by yourself, and then come back and we'll go through the answers together. Question 1. The children get into groups of 2. How many groups will there be? There will be 4 groups. Number 2. Write 2 calculations to describe the array. Did you write 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8? And 4 plus 4 equals 8. Question 3. The orange weighs 5 cubes. And question 4. Find the total of 10 and 9. 19. Well done. Now, let's move on with our next lesson. Today we're going to find a quarter. Do you remember when we were looking at finding a half? Well, what is a half? Let's review. If we had a cookie and we wanted to share it with 2 people, we would each want a half. We would each want one of 2 equal pieces. How could we show a half with a cookie? We could cut it right down the middle. Then we'd have 2 equal pieces. 1, 2. One of those equal pieces is a half. Would you be able to show half of this button? Yes, we could draw a line like this. That would show 2 equal pieces. One of them is a half. And finally, we've got a tart. How could we share the tart with 2 people? Each person would want a half. We could cut it right down the middle, 2 equal pieces, and we would each get a half. But what is a quarter? How can we show a quarter? Well, a quarter is one of 4 equal pieces. So we should look at the cookie first. We've got 2 equal pieces, but how could we show 4 equal pieces? Yes, we could draw another line through the middle. Here we have 4 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of those equal pieces is a quarter. Well done. Now let's have a look at the button. Could you draw another line to show 4 equal pieces? Exactly. And what would 1 quarter be? There it is. That would be 1 quarter. And again, let's look at the tart. If we had 4 people and we wanted to share it equally, we would each want to have 1 quarter. So let's draw a line and show 4 equal pieces. Each person would get a quarter. Excellent work. Here we have 3 shapes: a heart, a square, and an arrow. I want you to help me out with this. I'm going to draw a line, and I want you to tell me, is this half? If I draw a line here, would this show half? Yes, it shows 2 equal pieces, both the same size. How about this? Is this a half? Yes, 2 equal pieces. One of those would be a half. And finally, the arrow. Is this a half? Yes, one of those 2 equal pieces would be a half. Okay, I'm going to draw some more lines. I want you to tell me, is this a quarter? Ready? There. Would one of these 4 pieces be a quarter? No. We have 4 pieces, but they're not equal. They're not the same size. So one of those would not be a quarter. How about with the square? Would this be a quarter? Yes, any one of those would be one of 4 equal pieces. So those would show a quarter. And finally, the arrow. Is this a quarter? No. Once again, we have 4 pieces, but they're not equal. They're not the same size. So one of those would not be a quarter. Well done. Oh, hello there. Do you have a question for us? What is a half? Okay. And here is a circle. She wants to know if we could find a half. Here's her answer. She's taken the circle and drawn a line to show 2 equal pieces. And I can see that she's colored in one of them. Does that colored in piece show a half? Yes. Anything else? Oh, what is a quarter? What could we do to the circle to show 4 equal pieces? And how would we show a quarter? Oh, yes, we could draw another line and we could color in one of the 4 equal pieces. This is a quarter. So what's the same about all 3 circles? What's different? Well, they're all the same size circles, and some of them have similar lines. But what's different is, well, they used a different color crayon, but also the size. The size of 1/2 colored in is different than 1/4. What is a half? I wonder what shape we'll use. Oh, it's a rectangle. Could you show a half? Would you be able to draw and color in half of the rectangle? Here is half. We could draw it right through the middle and color in one of the 2 equal pieces. This is a half. What is a quarter? How could we show a quarter? Well, remember, we need 4 equal pieces. And sometimes we can take that half and draw a line right down the middle. There. 4 equal pieces, and one of them colored in. The purple is a quarter of the rectangle. Again, what's the same? What's different? And maybe you even drew lines in a different way on the rectangle. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means as long as you have 4 equal pieces with one of them colored in, you're showing a quarter. And finally, we have Teddy. He says, what's the same? What's different? All right, Teddy, let's take a look. Well, what do you notice that's the same? I see that they're the same shape and that they've all been divided in the same way, 4 equal pieces. They also used the same crayon for each of them. But what's different? Sometimes they colored in the top one, or a middle one, or a bottom one. So they chose a different one to color in. But I'll tell you what is the same. Each one of these shows a quarter. It doesn't matter which of the 4 equal pieces we color in, because they're all equal. Now it's time for you to pause here. Have a go at your worksheet. It's time for another Flashback 4. But